Really want to glide it along. You want to scrape down. In this video, I'm going to show you how to prepare your own flint and steel kit. Now, it's called flint and steel, but there are just so many different stones that you can use, and I'm going to show you how to find your own stone anywhere. Really quick though, I want to start with the steel. Okay, this technique is much easier with what we call a striker like this. This goes way back to the mountain man days. The thing you need to know about this is low carbon steel. So stainless steel, the real shiny stuff that doesn't rust, that's no good for this. We need high carbon steel. The higher carbon, the better. And these little knuckle duster strikers here, these are the best. They come in a lot of shapes and sizes, some without the hook here. I really like this. Now you'll see all of the stones I have here, and I have some extreme examples like this, amethyst here and smoky quartz. They all have one thing in common. They're all pretty dang shiny. That's going to be our first tell. As soon as we see that shine, we know we have something that may work. And I'll just show you something on the more glassy type stone, the quartz here. So this, right, the way it chips there and leaves these edges, and if you could see the pressure waves that go through there, that means it has a tendency to form a conchoidal fracture. So these are mostly like quartz-based stones and microcrystalline structures in the stones, and they have a tendency to make those fractures there. So a lot of these, if it's a solid chunk like this, these are also pieces that we'll use for knapping stone, for making stone tools. So whenever you see this shine like this, there's a good chance that if you bust it, right? So if I need a cutting tool, I could just bust this on another rock. It breaks at these right angles like this. They call it a conchoidal fracture. Okay, and you'll get a sharp edge. And if we're going to use it for tool making specifically, we want a solid piece, not something without all these fractures running through it, because then we can't control where it breaks and get a really nice arrowhead or something like that. But I digress. So whenever we see that shininess, right, and we see that it has a tendency to make those sharp edges when it breaks, we know we have something that we can try out with our flint and steel, okay, with our steel striker, and see if it will work, right? So you're going to find a sharp edge there because you're actually taking pieces off this carbon steel here, and that's what's igniting. That's what's making the spark. So again, shiny rock mean good rock. So this is one I just found on the ground here. This is smoky quartz. This is pretty cool, right? Purple amethyst. Some good ones off that. I don't know what the heck this is. I just found this on the ground. That is a good one, right? And that's what you'll do. You'll find these shiny rocks. You'll test them out with your striker here. And if they make a good spark, you'll include that one in your kit. That sometimes it won't work. When it doesn't work, it's because the stone itself is just too soft. This is an orange calcite, and you'll see it just breaks away, so it can't scrape off the steel. So if it's too soft, no matter if it does the conchoidal fractures and it's shiny or not, it won't work. So we just test it out, see what we get a good spark out of. We put that in our kit. This is char cloth, and it's essential for your flint and steel kit. You see the tiny sparks that we're making, right? It's going to be really hard, if not impossible, to catch shredded bark or leaves or grass on fire with such tiny sparks. However, if we get some 100% cotton strips or even processed fibers from something wild like milkweed or stinging nettle, we can process it into a carbonized fuel. So this is char cloth. This is very traditional and what most people use. So I'm going to show you all the science behind this and how to make a high quality piece of char cloth that takes a spark easy but doesn't crumble and make it hard to use. Okay, making char cloth is simple. Just going to cut some strips of 100% cotton. It has to be 100% cotton or it will melt. And then I'm going to just load it up into this Altoids tin here. Now I'm using an Altoids tin, and you'll see because of the hinges here, there's little holes, there's gaps in the tin. So if you're using a tin where you're sliding the top on airtight, you'll have to poke a hole on the top, because let's talk about what's going to happen here. I'm going to put this in the fire. Now it's going to get so hot, that much of this material is going to turn to gas. okay? Hot air expands, so it'll be pressurized in here. That gas is flammable. That's actually what you see when you see fire. When you see flames and not just smoldering, not just embers like the red there, we've heated the material so much it's become a gas, and that gas is flammable. So we need a bit of a hole in the tin. Now with Altoids, these hinges here will do. If you have an airtight top on there, you have to poke a hole on it. We want that gas to escape. What we're left with is mostly carbon. This was once a living plant, right? Cotton came off a living plant. Life forms here on Earth are carbon-based. So everything else becomes a gas, burns off in the fire, and we're left with carbon, much like charcoal, which has a very low ignition temperature, which smolders like the embers here. And that's what we need for flint and steel. All right, so I'm just gonna toss this right in the hot spot. Let's see. Good shot. Okay, build that fire up a little bit. And now some people will say, watch the gaps, watch the hole you poked, watch the hinges, and then, well, when you no longer see smoke or anything like that coming out, you're done. But I just give it about 10 minutes and check. So after you get this out of the fire, you don't want to open the tin too early. Think about the fire triangle. You need heat, fuel, and oxygen for ignition. This has all the heat and the fuel, but no oxygen. So if it's really, really hot and I open this too early, all of the char cloth will ignite at once. However, if I let it cool, we're good to go. So I've let it sit for a while. And there we go. As long as everything is fully black and charred, as you see here, then we're fine. You can't really get this wrong. As long as it's all black and charred, you're good. If you overdo it, it'll just be too crumbly. You see, this has some flex to it. That makes it easier to use. If it's crumbly, you can still use it. It's just a little more difficult. So here is darn near perfect char cloth. So if you want to test your char cloth before you put it in your kit, you could just hit it with a little spark from the fire steel there. And you see one little spark and it's all ready to go. And see, it's not going out. That's going to go until it consumes the entire piece of char cloth. Now for how it works. So I'm going to have a pre-prepared tinder bundle ready. This is going to be the same way we prepare a friction fire tinder bundle. If you don't know how to do that, go to the profile, check out the video on friction fire tinder bundles. So you can do this no matter where in the world you are. I'm going to go ahead and pick a large piece of char cloth here, right? So I need a big target area. These sparks are going to be going off in every which way, every direction. So I'm going to put a big piece on this stone here in hopes of improving results. Now I'm holding it on the top because that's how I learned, but a lot of guys will hold it on the bottom, and that's fine because you're going to see here when I strike, and indeed in the previous videos, that the sparks go in every which direction. So if you find even a different way to hold it, right, that works for you, that maintains your accuracy, that's fine. You're still using flint and steel. There is no perfect way to do it. There's just a way that's good for you. You don't just want to smack into it too hard. You really want to glide it along. You want to scrape down to get the most sparks. I'm trying to just skim it there. So I'm going to coach this into an ember by blowing. Okay. So again, just like a friction fire ember, we put it in the bundle and encourage it in a flame. Flint and steel.